Here we are in Japan, just outside a bar in Nagoya with, I don't want to swear, but with my friend Gabriel Jude, who's been kind enough to fly all the way from Singapore just to be in my presence. And most people would, fly anywhere to be in my presence, but he's flown from Singapore. That's how it is. And I'm going to be talking to him about all things related to video and kinds of fun stuff. So yeah, it's going to be impromptu. There's probably going to be some swearing involved, so I apologise if you're easily offended, but you are probably going to get offended, but that is just how we roll. So while I drink my manly drink and he drinks his girly drink, we'll get going. So anyway,
I actually flew down for a woman, not because of you.
Well, yeah, I play second fiddle, but that's good.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know who this guy is, which is probably like most of the world, can you let everybody know who you are and tell them the insane amounts of money that you make and how you got started, and just give the usual introductory spiel, all that kind of stuff.
I don't know how to do that. That's what people generally do, though.
I know. You can make stuff up. It's okay.
Make stuff up.
All right.
I don't know. What do you want me to say? This is very difficult for me.
Okay, well, yeah. He flew from Singapore. I know that he has, in the past, he's run a successful video ads agency. He's been doing video marketing since before I even came online. So he's been doing this for a long time. So can you give people just a little bit of a very brief synopsis on how you got started from not really knowing what you're doing to knowing what you're doing?
So I actually started back in 2006.
Old school.
Yeah, very old school. Yeah, started in 2006. I got into internet marketing because of a conference. What was it? A workshop, actually. It was a workshop called Internet Money Secrets by Stuart Tan. And if we're talking about old school, this was where we actually went. We're talking about super affiliates like Ewan Chia,
right.
Great copywriters like Johan Mock, Joel Com, very, very old school.
And if you guys don't know who the people that he's referencing are, they're just people that have been in the game a long, long time. They're not always people that are in your face online, but they're very successful underground and doing stuff that what a lot of people now want to do, but these guys were doing it back way in the day.
Yeah, and it was very interesting because I got into that. It was a 3-day workshop, and I was really excited about it. But back in the day, it was that whole analysis leads to paralysis. It was very overwhelming. And back in 2006, this was when globalization didn't even kick in yet. Where platforms like getaguru.com, Freelancer, Odesk, now known as Upwork, were not very commercialized. So pretty much back in the day, if you were doing internet marketing, you had to do everything by yourself. You needed to learn how to code, basically create a website. You needed to, it was really full on. You needed to learn how to write copy. You needed to learn how to do your own graphics. You needed to learn how to persuade people. You needed to learn little things that will get you the edge, such as the psychology of colors or what different fonts mean, calligraphy and all that kind of stuff. It was truly a grind back then because you had to do everything by yourself. And I remembered at that point of time, I was working, an average of 15, 18 hours a day, and I was getting very little results. And it took me 3 months because I was just consuming a lot of information, a lot of content, that I just waved the white flag, and I'm like, maybe this is not for me, and I gave up. And what happened in 2009 was that a really good buddy of mine was kind of like living the life that I had always wanted to live, traveling around the world with his missus, living in
So you'd always wanted to travel around the world with his missus? Is that what you're saying?
Don't tell him that.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, that was what it was, and I wanted to, I aspired to be like him at that time. I wanted to travel around the world. I wanted to live a life of luxury. But I think more important than that, I wanted to be able to have the option, right? Because today, if you ask me, I think money is just a tool that gives you an array of options to choose from. So that was what I was really wanting to achieve. So at that point of time, I just asked him, I'm like, can you teach me the ropes?
Right.
And he told me, like, all you really have to do when it comes to internet marketing is to master one of the two, or if not best, if you can master the two, and that is mastering how to drive traffic to your website, your product, your services, or learn how to be able to convert the traffic in your website. Now, of course, if you know the two, then you're absolutely golden, and that you can make a fuck ton of money. For me, I knew that I was going to be really bad in conversions because it's more of the technical side of things, looking at numbers, looking at data, which is not my cup of tea. I've always been very fascinated with marketing because of the psychology and being able to convince and influence other people, that I decided to focus on the traffic aspect. I mean, as of today, you know, fast forward to like 10 years later, I'm still shit in driving, in converting traffic. I'm bloody good in driving traffic, but really, really bad.
You chose video. You chose video as your traffic source. I know you've been doing it for a long, long time. Why did you choose video? Because there are so many other things going on now, but back then, why did you choose video?
The truth or the lie you want?
The lie. No, the truth.
Okay, the truth. It was the easiest thing to do.
Because I chose it because it was the cheapest thing. Because my friend was doing Facebook ads and he had to pay for Facebook ads, and I thought, well, I can just rank videos and it's free. I mean, obviously it's not free, but at the time I was kind of in a similar mindset. For me, it was cheaper, but you moved quite quickly. You went into SEO, and then, if I'm right, you went on to YouTube ads and you started your own agency. So what was your thought process of like choosing video to then suddenly be running this big successful agency?
Well, firstly, I mean, it took me 3 months to get a full-time income online. So it's very interesting because it took me 3 months in 2006 to give up internet marketing altogether. And then in 2009, when I saw my mate doing it and living the life, I was like, actually, maybe this is possible, you know? And I decided to do it. And this time around, you know, there was that level of belief and conviction that it is possible. And if it all fails, or if I stuff up somewhere, at least I could actually go to my mate. So you could almost say that my mate was more of like my mentor slash coach that I could go to in case I stuff up or I needed like the next step to take, right? So when he asked me to choose a traffic source, I honestly chose YouTube because it was the easiest to learn.
I presume you went into like the ranking side first, because I don't think most people don't go into ads first, they go into ranking first.
But you know, it's very interesting because at that time, Facebook and Twitter blew up. And it was ridiculously easy to make money on Facebook and Twitter. I got into YouTube when people were asking me like, how are you going to make money uploading cat and dog videos and videos of babies crying? Like, there's no money in there. Today I'm super grateful that I'm like looking at all these cunts and I'm like, yeah, fuck you cunts, you know? Sorry for the vulgarity.
It's alright, it's how it is. People know it's all cool. So you started ranking, you learned how to rank, and then you decided to take the step up and like get into YouTube ads, which led to your agency.
Actually, no.
Right,
I was ranking as a freelancer first. So 2009 was when I got into affiliate marketing and CPA. That was what led me to get a full-time income within 3 months. And then 2010, Google came up with the whole content ID thing that completely threw me out of business, because I was actually promoting incentivized CPA instead of like the actual CPA. So like I was incentivizing people to gain access to my content, which happened to be which was against copyright violations.
Fair enough.
Total transparency right there. Made a lot of money. I was averaging about 800 to 1500 a day. And the reason why I was averaging that amount was because I was one of those few people that knew how to optimize and rank a video. Like in 2008, if you knew how to optimize and rank a video, you'd go above and beyond. You didn't even have to build backlinks. You didn't really need to know how to do SEO. There was a lot of keyword stuffing still involved back then. Of course, today, if you keyword stuff, you get sandboxed. But that was the Wild West of the interwebs, right? So at that point of time, I was making very good money, and then in 2010, YouTube came up with the content ID, which meant all of my videos got taken down. My YouTube channels were terminated because I violated copyrights with all the TV companies and the music companies, because I was promoting ringtone offers. So what actually happened then was I got into depression for about 3 months, because imagine making on an average of like $35,000 a month and then overnight like that,
gone.
you just completely. And I was blowing money away. Like every single day, I'd go to the club, spend about $1,000, not have a worry, because the next day I knew that when I wake up, which I didn't have a hangover because I was a lot younger then, I'd wake up the next day and I'll see $1,000 made while I was actually clubbing and getting myself shit-faced. So I went for some social media event, and one of my mates actually had a connection of a guy who runs an SEO agency, and he said, like, you actually rank videos? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I've always been looking for a guy who could rank videos for my clients, because I want to use that as an add-on service, and also to increase the revenues of my business. So we started talking. I started showing him the amount of traffic that I was driving at that point of time, and when I started running when I started ranking videos, I would get traffic of up to 200,000 visitors per month at that point of time. So like,
you're in a variety of different niches at the time, yeah?
Yeah. Predominantly like in music, in TV, in sports, and I was also in the dating niche as well.
For anybody that doesn't realise, you weren't on the videos yourself, right? You weren't, or were you? You weren't actually.
No, back then it was like PowerPoint slides, dude.
Right. So
yeah,
you weren't on camera talking about this stuff.
You don't have things like Content Samurai,
right?
You know, like back then I only used two tools: Animoto and PowerPoint, and Windows Movie Maker. Right. Ooh, depressing times those.
So now, like, there's a lot of people out there that know how to rank videos. There's different ways of doing it, but there's people that know how to rank videos. So why do you think people struggle so much these days? Because you said, like before, you had to learn all this stuff. A lot of stuff that these days people don't have to learn. So these days there are so many tools and softwares and things that help people to like get to a certain level. But yet there are still so many people that struggle. They don't make the money that you've been talking about. They don't make the money that they want to make, but yeah, everything's kind of there for them. So like, what do you think is people's problem? Why can't they get over that hurdle when everything's there for them?
I would say it comes down to 4 reasons. Number 1, they don't really know why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Number 2, lack of focus because of the shiny object syndrome, right? Like when I first started out, it was very, like I was buying every single product that I could get my hands on, because like I said, why did I get into YouTube? Because it was the easiest.
Yeah.
So whenever there was a product out there that would say, oh, this is a push button software, or apply this technique and you have hordes of traffic coming into your website for nothing without lifting a finger and all of that, I was the first person to buy it. Right. So I would say that, lack of focus. Eventually, which alludes to my third point, having a mentor, right? Having a coach, because whenever I went to my mate was like, stop spending all your money. Like, I understand what you're going through with the shiny object syndrome, but just stay the path, stay the course. If you say that you're going to get into YouTube and you want to master YouTube, forget about all of the distractions that surround you. Yeah. Forget about all of the different shiny objects, right? And just focus, which was really fucking difficult.
But there are distractions even within YouTube. Like, I mean, you can say to yourself, right, I'm going to just be a YouTube marketer. But within that small sphere of YouTube marketing, there are distractions with softwares coming out saying they're going to do one thing when they can't. People with courses and people with softwares promising, almost like what you're saying, like they're promising, like, well, buy our software, click a few buttons and your video is going to be ranked and you're going to rake in all this money. So even within the realm of YouTube, there is still that shiny object problem that people suffer from. And obviously it goes a lot bigger with other niches, but even within video, it's still a struggle.
Well, to be fair, when I started, there weren't any YouTube courses, let alone YouTube software. I mean, I would say that the first ever major YouTube course that came out was in 2011 by James Wedmore.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? When I started in 2009, everything that I did was through trial and error. So I've uploaded more than 10,000 videos. I've definitely put in way more than 10,000 hours. Like I said, I was doing on an average of 15, 18 hours a day. So I would set up Google alerts on articles related to video SEO, video marketing, and I would just ferociously, consume that content. And after consuming that content, I'll go forth and apply it.
Yeah.
So I think to a certain extent I was lucky that I got in early when there weren't as many distractions as there are today.
Yeah.
As there is today. So, yeah. So, but I mean, that's why having a mentor is so vitally important. Mentor or coach, right? Because you have that person as your accountability partner as well, who would say, stop buying all that bullshit, focus, stay the path, you know. And it was good because like I got back into internet marketing because of my mate. Like I said, the lifestyle that he's living with his missus. I didn't end up living with his missus, but I ended up traveling the world. But at that time, whenever, you know, like I ran through everything, like what you're experiencing in maybe the official Beers with Adam group, right? Like someone wants to buy something, they're running it through with you first, and then you're like, nah, that's just horse shit, don't get it, save your money, or use your money to go and run YouTube ads or Facebook ads. I had that at that point of time when nobody wanted to reveal their secrets because everyone's too busy milking the cow because you're talking about the wild west of YouTube. And that's the thing that I want people to understand as well. Like back then, there weren't as many courses that were coming out because people were too busy making money. Like there was so much money to be made that they couldn't be fucked creating courses and make a couple of bucks. Or, you know, when I say a couple of bucks, I'm talking about a couple of grand or 10, 20 grand. Because I knew people, and this is why it was very difficult for me, because I knew people making 150 grand a day on running Facebook ads. Right. The acai berry, the something green tea, that
coffee green extract,
the Brazilian,
Garcinia, Cambodia,
that. They were running ads on Facebook with like iframing and back then, because Facebook wanted to make as much money as possible, right? They allowed all these affiliates, and then after they kind of fucked the affiliates over by saying like, oh, you're actually destroying the user experience. That's because they've made enough money, they've reached that user base, right? So back then, and that was what I've learned early on, which was the fact that the people who are too busy making money, actually getting results, are the people who really couldn't be stuffed creating courses. I don't make much money in the online space compared to a lot of my peers, but why? I've gotten people have asked me to create video marketing courses before. Why do I, as tempting as it is for me to create a video marketing course, why do I not create one? Because when I go back to my humble abode and sit down and look at the results that I'm currently getting and what results I would actually get from developing a course, financially speaking, it's not worth my time. It's the same thing with running an agency, right? Why did I stop running an agency? Because when I see how much money I've been making for the clients that I've been serving, I'm like, might as well just do this by myself,
right?
You know, because I'm charging 6-figure deals, but in actuality I'm getting paid pennies on the dollar if you look at the results that I'm getting. Because if I'm charging someone $106,000, which is one of our packages back then, I'd be making them $2-3 million a year. So what's $2-3 million in revenues to the $106,000 that they've paid me? So when I sat down, I was like, I'm actually that fucking good. Why don't I just do this myself, right? So, and then number 4, because I was talking about the 4 reasons why people struggle. So the 4th one is they do not have a blueprint, right? So this is why I feel that you've done really well for your tribe, in a sense where you've created Video Marketing Insider and you've accommodated to your tribe as much as possible, creating blueprints, creating systems and processes, which is so vitally important for business, for them to actually get results. I mean, like I said, everything that I did was through trial and error. I think that people getting into VMI, how much is VMI now, 40? Or?
It's 40 right now, it's 40 a month.
Okay, so 40, Like,
I mean, you've said like the pricing is too cheap. In your opinion?
Yeah, I think it's stupid cheap. Because, I mean, for me, I value time more than I do money, right? And would I rather pay $40 a month and reduce, or should I say accelerate my growth and my success by 50% more? Or do I try to save a couple of dollars, specifically $40 a month? And then it takes twice the time, right? I mean, it comes back down to like, since we're in Japan, we've got, from my understanding, we've got 3 different bullet trains. You've got the Nozomi,
Hikari, and the
Kodama, right? The Nozomi is the fastest, from my understanding, because when I went from Nagoya to Kyoto, the Nozomi is about 30-35 minutes. The Kodama is about 48 to 53 minutes or something. That's a difference of a good 20 minutes.
Yeah.
The price of the Kodama is actually lower than the Nozomi, but I'm taking the Nozomi because I get to my destination faster. So that's how I look at VMI, right? Like, yes, it might be $40. I mean, $40 is fuck all to the amounts of money that I potentially make with the blueprints, the step-by-step guide that is available in VMI. I mean, I am a member, but every once in a blue moon I go in there when you have updates, because I like to keep myself abreast of all the different changes that is going on in Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And I'm like, yeah, it's too cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite sad, because I think you should actually increase the price.
Maybe I should. What do you think? But yeah, it's good points. I mean, like, I've always thought about, basically putting the price up to $97 a month.
Yeah.
But I also realise that there's a lot of people that are in my Beers of Adam group and on my email list and so on that aren't in the financial situation to pay that money. But I do wonder sometimes, like, why people don't, when everything's there in front of them, what is that roadblock that stops them from taking action? Because I created Video Marketing Insider as almost like for something that I wish that I had as well.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have it. I mean, yes, I was started a bit later than you, and there were video courses around, but there was nothing that was complete. It was always a little bit missing or a little bit not there. They wouldn't tell you the secrets. They'd tell you how to rank and it wouldn't work, yet they were ranking, so they were obviously doing something different. So I'm like, well, there's plenty to go around for everybody. Like, I'll tell you how it works. You can rank your videos, you can do YouTube ads, you can go into Facebook videos if you want. If you want to do Twitter videos, that's fine. But obviously you've still got to put in the work.
Mm.
What do you think, when everything's laid out in front of people, what do you think stops people from still getting to that next goal, the next level? Is it just purely lack of self-discipline?
I believe that there are many variables to it. Like, from my perspective, I think a lot of people do not know, like, is the whole thing, right? Like, obviously I'm being very judgmental and stereotypical here, but if I was someone who inherited $1 billion from my parents,
yeah,
I wouldn't understand the value of money, because I just got it out of thin air. But if I had to work my socks off to make that little bit of money, I would actually be able to understand the value of it, and I'll be able to appreciate the money that I am putting forth. So where I'm getting at with this is that I have great appreciation for what you have done for your community with Video Marketing Insider, because I knew how fucking hard I had to work. I knew what I had to do with the limited resources. To me, the reason why I say that VMI should actually be more than $40 is because it's not just the blueprints, it's not just the systems and processes. Because I think what people have is like it's like staying in a 5-star hotel.
Right.
It's a luxury that I wish I had when I started. Like, I'm having fucking goosebumps now thinking about it, because it was full on at that point of time. Like I said, I mean, I had to learn how to write copy. And I'm not really a writer, I'm more of a video guy. And that's probably another reason why I got into videos. I needed to learn psychology. I've always been fascinated by psychology. I needed to learn neuro-linguistic programming. I needed to learn, neuro-linguistic association, understanding how to interrupt patterns and stuff like that. So if you think about all of these things that I had to learn, buying books and stuff, it's pennies. Like, your course is pennies on the dollar compared to what I'd invested in. One of the things that I've always said that I'm very, very proud to proclaim it to the world is I've invested more than $100,000 on internet marketing in my own education.
Right.
So I think that, because people have not gone there, where they realize how hard it was, they can't really fully appreciate what they have at this present moment. It's like I said, inheriting $1 billion,
yeah,
right? And Second thing is also about expectations, right? Like, see, one of the things that I appreciate you for that I don't really, and why I'm not associated in the iron world, is because you tell it as it is. Like, it's going to require fucking work.
Yeah.
From a psychological point of view, like a lot of people say watching this video are opportunists. You know,
Yeah.
they want to actually make money online. And guess what? A lot of gurus are going to capitalize on that psychology. They're going to take advantage of that. They're not going to tell you it's going to take work. Why? Because you're not going to buy the fucking product if they were to tell you, oh, you're going to need 15, 18-hour days and stuff. Of course, now you don't.
Yeah.
Because of globalization, right? You can go to Fiverr to go and get a web design or a logo done. I had my ebook done for like $5, you know. So, and I learned globalization from my goddad, because this is I'm sorry to digress a little bit, but I have to share the story. My goddad actually built a multi-million-dollar human resource consulting company with a $250 investment.
Yeah.
You know,
insane, yeah.
Like, and you might be thinking, like, how is that possible? Because I want to know, right? All he did was, at that point in time, he basically went to freelancer.com, paid some ghostwriter $250 to write a book on human resource management, and then slap it with his name and his own logo and stuff like that, and then started doing workshops for free and giving those books away. And at that time, you know, you're talking about like the early 1980s, the 1990s, when you wrote a book, right, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
You know,
it's still a fairly big deal.
So, but you see, he actually did it in the early 2000s, because all of these platforms were not as available, but, you know, it was still there. Like, Upwork came around in like 98, 99.
Right.
But it didn't get commercialized until like the mid or the late 2000s, right? But he got onto this platform and just said, I'm going to pay you $250, write a book for me. And he blew up.
There are two things about that story. Like, one thing is like how simple it sounds, because like
It's all perception management.
you
really.
go into a place like Upwork, you pay someone $250 and you get an ebook, but you still had the balls to actually like take that, and actually like get off his ass,
Yeah.
and go into companies and like present what he's got. Whereas a lot of people will be like, okay, I'll go and get an ebook for $250. They'll get the ebook, but that's all they'll do. They won't actually get off their ass and like go and, you know, take it to that next level. And I think that's where a lot of people struggle, is they'll do part of the process, but they're not fully prepared to like take it to the next level and like actually put in the work. I mean, no one enjoys walking into a company where you don't know somebody and saying, look, this is what I've got. But you either want it bad enough, or you're prepared to like go the extra level that you'll, you know, push through the mental pain barrier and do it.
Yeah, I have to stop you there, because this is the one thing that I have to share with people. Back when I was promoting as an affiliate marketer, I've never told you this before. I can't remember. Was it Super Affiliate Bootcamp? Was a product name. It was by Ewan Chia. Okay. It was 2006. You want to know how I was as an affiliate marketer? I literally went to my friends to ask them to go and buy, and I gave them a link, the full fucking link, through email. So I was essentially doing offline marketing in an online world. I don't know how that actually works. Now it sounds very, very fucking foolish, but I was actually on the phones just to make a $7 commission.
Right, $7.
Yeah, just to make a $7.
We're not talking a $500, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I just wanted to know that it could work.
Yeah.
You know, and I was willing to do all it took at that point of time. So I was calling, like, the moment someone told me, or it gives me a hint or an inclination that, oh, I want to get into the marketing, it was like, buy Super Affiliate Bootcamp. And in my mind, so I can get a $7 commission. So, I mean, I'd get on phones for like an hour just to make a $7 commission.
$7 an hour. I mean, you can earn that.
Yeah, I mean, like,
when you think of it like that way, but you did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's then and there's now.
No, I mean, because so I was in the mindset of doing whatever it took.
And I think that is what a lot of people don't accept or they can't understand. And like it goes back to the bright shiny object syndrome. They get bombarded daily in their email inbox by people that either they don't know or people that they think they know that come across quite nicely, quite well, yet they're promoting basically crap. And they see these sales pages which have had a lot of money invested on copy and graphics, but they lack a ton of when it comes to the actual product itself.
Yeah.
So they kind of like open up an email, they'll see an email from someone, and this happens on a daily basis, and it's like, this is a great product, blah blah blah. So they go to the sales page and they read the copy, they look at the graphics, and it sometimes, even for me, like I know the person that's made it, so I know it's trash, but I do sometimes think if I didn't know this person, I would be enticed. I might click on this link and I might buy it, and I might have the mindset of like, well, it's only $7, what have I got to lose? But the fact that I've clicked on it and I've bought it and I've consumed it, that whole process is mentally time consuming, and to actually go through a product to realise it's trash might take me a day. It's another day I've wasted, and then I start getting a bit negative because I've bought something from somebody I thought was alright and it's turned out not to be good, and then I feel bad at myself because it's like I've done it again. And there is this, it's hard for people to kind of like sift between stuff, which is one of the reasons like my Beers Vadim group is I'm quite open. Like, I'll tell people like, and I'll name names. I'm not afraid to name names, which nobody else does. Like, I'll say this product is bad and this person's not very good. But there's only so much I can do. I can't grab it by the throat and say, look, stop it. Like, you've got to like focus.
But sometimes you have to.
Yeah, maybe I should.
Yeah. I mean, so like, when I was running an agency, I've ran a successful agency in Australia. I've run a successful agency in Singapore. I've also ran a successful agency in the States. Like, there's no question, literally, hand on heart, I could build easily a six-figure agency in my sleep. Like, I've been there, I've done that 3 times. I started off as a freelancer first, but the point that I'm actually driving across is, when someone comes to me and say, can you give me a discount? I tell them to kindly fuck off. Because I know the value that I bring to the table is so difficult for me to justify why I should actually give a discount. Just like, why have I not created a video marketing course? Because it's so hard for me to actually... I've had people come up to me with an email list of $500,000 and say, dude, create a video course, we'll sell it for $7 or $17 and we'll make a lot of money. And it's so hard. Like, I know the value that I bring to the table. I know the content that I'm going to empower people with. I know if they, obviously results are not typical, but I know that if they were to apply, because I'm more serious about people's success than they are.
That's the key thing, isn't it? Like, you get more invested in other people than they're invested. They are. And you're like,
so like, I know what I bring to the fucking table, right? So if I know what I bring to the table, I find it very difficult to undermine my own value by saying, here's a $7 product, buy my shit.
Yeah.
I can't, it's like, no, so when I go for meetings and people say like, oh, could you actually give us a discount because how companies who are looking to get their marketing done by other agencies is that they need at least 2, if not 3 quotations from different companies. So it's not a biased decision. And some companies will actually try to lowball you and say, but this other quotation that we've got is actually charging lower than what you're charging. And I'm like, then go with that.
Yeah.
And they're like, but they want to work with us. But your portfolio is good and stuff like that. Then pay the price. Right. It's like, yeah, but this company, I'm like, what do you, is this Christmas or something? Like, you can't expect the entire world when you don't even want to pay it $1,
Right.
So that's the kind of that's the kind of thing, and I think that's why coaching or mentorship is also important, right? Because, like, I think the first question, actually, you're asking me questions. I would like to ask you.
Okay.
Why would people want to buy a product, whether it is $7 or $7,000, from someone that they don't even know, let alone like or trust. I mean, to me, you are truly a leader, because I look at leadership like the way I run my company, right? A lot of people think that leaders are at the top, right? If you think about it from a pyramid concept, leaders at the top. But the way that I was conditioned, or I was taught when I was 17 by my mentors, was that leaders, the true leaders, the pyramid is actually reversed.
Yeah.
Where the leaders are actually at the bottom carrying that pyramid.
Yeah.
And the way I look at what you're doing with your community is as such, where you're almost a slave in a way. I mean, don't.
No, I know,
you know,
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Where you're making yourself available, right? I've not seen you not respond to a question.
Yeah, I mean, I respond to every question. I mean, I don't always respond on the same day, but I respond to every question.
Yeah.
I respond to every support question, whether it's a detailed one or a simple one, or one that I've heard 1,000 times. I respond to every Facebook PM.
Exactly.
I don't always respond on the same day, because
so the question is, the people that you know, these opportunity seekers are buying products from, do they actually give them the time of day? I don't know. I know when I go into other groups, I know that most of them don't. I mean, I'm in other groups answering questions that people will post in other groups and giving them advice. But one thing that I notice is that people are there's a lot of the same people are in a lot of the same groups. You know, I'm not going to name the names because people know who they are, but there's software related video groups, there's affiliate marketing related video groups, there's this related video groups. And one thing that I'll notice is that a lot of the people that want to learn are in these same groups. They're in this group, and there's no problem with being in each group, but they're not fully invested in anything. They're just like, they're physically in these groups, and they're asking questions, and they'll ask the same question in the same group. And a lot of times I'll reply. But one thing that I do notice is there are some people out there that they will offer perceived value in other people's groups, but you go to their own group and it's a ghost town. Right? There's one guy, he's an Aussie guy, and he's quite good at what he does. He's in a ton of groups giving advice. You go to his own group, hasn't been in there for like 2 months, 3 months. Like, people are asking questions, are you okay, are you okay? Crickets. But he's in other groups trying to get people to buy his stuff, but he's not helping his own customers. And I just find it a bit weird. I mean, I respond to everybody everywhere, and sometimes, I do maybe go a bit overboard. I shouldn't do that. I should just be like, fuck you, like, pay me X amount of money and I'll give you my time. But there's part of maybe my background in teaching, or the fact that I've been living in Japan for 20 years, which most of my background has been revolved around helping people. So sometimes I can't help myself. There is that element of, too much time has been spent. No, I think it's the same. Like, when it comes down to romantic relationships, right? I mean, that's one thing that I'm very passionate about talking about. But obviously, we're not going to talk about this.
We're not quite that way.
But I'm like, one of the things that I'm very.
Bit of a girly drink, man.
Yeah.
Says me drinking the G&T. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah. You've been out of the scene, so you don't know all that much. I think it's the same thing. It's kind of like romantic relationships where, whether it be a guy or a gal, like, all of the previous relationships, or all of the dates, or a vast majority of the dates, was so cliche, boring, shitty. There's zero stimulation of the brain and all that kind of stuff, that when a good guy or gal comes into that person's life, they don't really know how to appreciate, they don't really know how to react to it, because it's like, I'm so used to getting shit dates, for example. I'm so used to being in shitty relationships that my standards have completely dropped, that when a guy or a girl comes into my life that treats me like a king or a queen, I can't really, that's just over my head.
Right.
And that's kind of like how I feel with regards to like the internet marketing world, right? It's one of the jokes that I used to make, and I can talk about this because like my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's very courageous for a woman to confess, you know, her feelings for another guy, for a guy. And when she did, and I said yes, like suddenly everything went kind of downhill. And I'm a very confrontational person, as you would know, or as you've come to know. And I've asked her, I said, is it because you've actually gotten me that now you can actually chillax? And then she was like, maybe. And I see that with a lot of business owners, right? They close the sale, it's like, we've made our money, so let's just walk away.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing with I see that a lot with agencies. They work so hard to close the sale, and when they close the sale, they deliver shit results.
Yeah.
And for me, like how we stood out apart from the experience is that we've always been very consistent. You know, we tried very, very hard to close the sale, and when we close the sale, we try even harder than we did before.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, customer lifetime value trumps the average dollar per transaction. And you're in it for the long term. A lot of people wouldn't understand it today, but in the future, a lot of people would come to appreciate, you know, what you're doing. Because the way I look at the IM world is that everyone is just trying to make a quick buck.
Yeah.
And that's why I find it very difficult for me. Like, you know, part of it is like, okay, you know, like reward, you know, work to a reward ratio, right? Like the amount of work that I have to put in versus the reward that I'm going to get out of creating a video marketing course, it's just not worth my time. You know, I mean, I don't want to sound like a douchebag, but my hourly, if a company were to consult with me, I charge $1,500 an hour. In the mornings, I've decided to upgrade, charge $3,000 because it's very difficult for me to wake up in the morning.
Right.
But I mean, the point that I'm driving across is that it's so difficult for me to do that, right? So that's why I look at, okay, the work to reward ratio, but at the same time, it's also because I don't want to be associated with that group. And I think that, you know, for you, you've done very well for yourself in trying to steer clear,
Yeah.
even though you're part of the MMO, make money.
Yeah, I'm not sure. People call it IM. I've always called it MMO because for me, IM stands for internet marketing, which is anybody using the internet to market stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of that crowd call it IM.
Yeah.
I prefer to call it MMO. Make money online. To make money online. But again, even then, I guess you could argue the semantics. But
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, when you say MMO, I like my head just adds in RPG. You know, like so MMORPG, like it's a gaming thing.
Right.
So yeah, no, I think, I mean, when we're so used to low standards and good things come into our lives, we tend to not appreciate it as much. And so, I mean, what I'm trying to say is that the way I see, like, we're so used to shitty products in the IM space that when you're saying, hey, I'm actually here, this is a fucking sorted place for you to be, I'm going to be there for you, for your success. Like, you've made it so easy for that person, right?
Yeah.
That because that person is like, yeah, no, I don't really want that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of think that that's what it is.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be.
It's like, you know, it's like, let me just try every other thing, because at the end of the day, Adam's going to be there.
Yeah, and I've had people.
I mean, that's
people
fucking harsh, but
it's true.
You know,
man. I mean, I've had people like have come to VMI. I've checked what their like login ratio is. They've like logged in twice. They've decided it's not for them. Then a month later, they're like, Adam, can I come back?
Yeah.
They've gone off and tried something else.
Yeah.
And then they've come back. And it's like, yeah, sure, you can come back if you want. I mean, most of the time I'll say yes, but not every single time. But yeah, I think there's definitely an element of truth in what you're saying.
And I've learned it the hard way, you know, in both friendships and romantic relationships, right? Where I would give the time of day for my friends. I go above and beyond, because one of the most, if not the most important thing for me, are relationships. That's why I'm here in Japan.
Yeah.
Right? And for me, if I feel that someone is just taking me for a ride or taking me for granted, I'm like, get the fuck out, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, back in the day, I would still, you know, like accommodate to that person and everything. But it just came to a point where I know my value, I know my worth. Like one of the quotes I recently posted on Instagram is, I know what I bring to the table, so believe me when I say that I'm not afraid to eat alone.
It's true. I mean, I've thought several times within my own like video marketing side of community, that kind of mindset is, it's like if you're not prepared to put in the work, you're not prepared to like listen to my advice and do stuff, that's fine, but you can leave. No one's keeping you here, no one's making you stay here, and I don't need people there that, you know, don't appreciate stuff.
Yeah.
And I know how much work I put into it, and I know how much work, you know, when people log in and they see the amount of content there, I can understand it could be a little bit, well, there's a lot of content here, it's overwhelming, but the way it's structured and the way I tell people in the welcome video is like, you know, go through it at your own pace, pick stuff that you need, I'm here if you need me. You know, I mean, they basically, it's not coaching, but I'm there so much that it's almost akin to that.
But I do think that, you know, people do need coaching. Like,
Yes.
this is my humble opinion. Like, I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't have a mentor.
Right.
You know, I'm mentored by a billionaire because of the fact that, you know, I'm not inspired to make $1 billion. Honestly, it's not my. At this present moment, it's not my calling. It may change, right? Because when I first got into internet marketing, like my first goal was to make $3,000 each month.
Right.
And then after that, like I remember, you know, after a while, my second goal was to make 10 grand. I was speaking to my housemate. I was like, do you remember those years where our goal was to make $10,000 a month? It was like, yeah, let's all laugh at it together. Ha ha. You know, like, yeah, that's. So for me, it's like, I think it's very important to have a coach / mentor that would say, right, what's your goal? What's your business objective? I'm going to help you. I'm going to hold you accountable. I can't do the work for you, right? But I can't help you with your attitude, your mentality, your mindset. But I'll help you get there as fast as possible.
And that's exactly what I had. I mean, I won't tell, the guy that I paid doesn't want to be named, but I paid the guy $10,000. And it's exactly the same kind of thing. It's like, look, I'm not going to do the work for you. I'm not going to be logging into your membership site and telling you, you know, which tracking link to put here, which there. If you want to know that stuff, figure it out yourself. You know, YouTube and Google are there for a reason. But he was there, and we spoke often. We spoke on Skype. There was no kind of like, your hour's up, you're cut off. You know? And he helped me. He gave me things to do. He gave me focus. He gave me clarity. Without him, VMI wouldn't have existed. But I still had to go out there, and I still had to record the video training. I still had to go out there and, you know, outsource my logo and get my membership site set up and sync it all to payment process. I had to do all that stuff myself. He didn't say, okay, you've paid me for training, now I'm going to do that for you. Now I still had to put in the work, and that's what a lot of people don't realise. They think, well, I'll pay somebody for mentorship, and they'll just log in and fix all my problems and do all my stuff. And I think, you know, it's that bigger picture that they give you, that clarity. But it still requires the person who's receiving the training to get off their ass and do some work. And if they're prepared to do that, then mentorship, training, whatever you want to call it, is just, for me, it's been the best investment I've made online.
There's no question. I mean, if you hand on heart legitimately want to have to consult with Peter Sage, it's $10,000 an hour.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because, I mean, like, when I look at a lot of people say, okay, the value of my time is 500, 1,500, maybe 2,000 and everything. And then you have Peter Sage, right? 10 grand an hour just to consult with him. Of course, he's not going to say your time is up after the hour, right? He will answer all of your questions and stuff like that. But that's the value. And I don't pay that amount, you know, but the one thing that I could say is that a lot of the people who have paid him 10 grand an hour was like, it's nothing, because I've actually made 100 grand or several times more than the 10 grand that I've got in an hour. I remember when I went for his workshop where he charged $5,000 for, I think it was a 2-day workshop. He actually said, you pay this 5 grand. If you don't make $1 million in 12 months, applying the 9 core competencies of business, let me know. I'll give you a full refund and I'll double the money.
And the funny thing is, I bet you the people that didn't make $1 million in 9 months
didn't ask for a refund.
Yeah, but they didn't. They didn't apply.
But they didn't ask for a refund either, because the value that he had provided in that 2-day workshop, I almost feel guilty asking him for the money back. Really.
Right.
I mean, like, have you got no shame? Like, that person just literally poured out, and the ones who did apply went on to make several $1 million. I remembered because, like, for me, I didn't have the money at that time. I slapped it on a credit card.
Yeah.
Because I blew all my money away, as I shared with you. I slapped it on a credit card, and I was like, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I slapped it on a credit card because I told myself, okay, if I don't make $1 million, I can ask for a refund.
Right.
You know, total transparency here. But when he shared with me when he shared with us the 9 core competencies of business, I was like, yeah, there's no way I'm going to ask him for a refund.
Right.
Not with all of that. And because I could see from a business perspective how applying the 9 core competencies of business, I would actually make $1 million and more. Just a matter of whether I was willing to take action. And that was how I built a 7-figure agency, actually, applying the 9 core competencies of business with a $5,000 investment for 2 days.
Right.
Yeah.
And you say you slapped on a credit card. I mean, a lot of people watching this video, a lot of people are going to be thinking, well, I don't have 5K, 3K, 10K, whatever it is lying around. But a lot of people that I know that took up mentorship from whoever it was, they didn't have 10K lying around or 5K lying around. I know when I first, before I did the 10K mentorship, I took out another mentorship with somebody else, and I paid 5K when I was brand new. I didn't have 5K in the job, you know. I was working a regular job. I didn't have 5K in the bank, but I wanted it, so I found a way to get that 5K. You know, like I actually ended up asking my grandmother to loan me money, and she loaned me the money to do it. And you know, if you don't have the money, there are ways to get it. I mean, obviously, like if somebody says it's $20 million, sometimes it's taking the piss, but like there are ways to do it, but you've got to apply it. Like you said, you applied the 9 core competencies that you learn.
You know, it's very interesting that you brought that up. I think I'm going to rattle a few leaves here, or is that the right word to use, or shake a few trees?
Punch a few faces. I'm not sure what the right word is, but
I mean, I'm not trying to get into people's like faces, but I mean, I think when people say I don't have the money, right? It tells me either one or, right? You just don't want it bad enough, or you don't really have that level of belief in yourself that you can overcome this. You know, like if it's the one thing that I've done over the last 15 years of running a business, is that I've gambled on myself. I've bet myself. So the reason why I'm a little bit cocky, I'm not going to like, you know, it would be a lie if I told people that I'm very humble, because I'm not. The reason why I'm a bit cocky is because of the fact that every single day of business, I've been betting on myself. You know, so slapping the $5,000 on a credit card was me taking a risk on myself. Me saying, yes, it is a lot of money at that time, but I know that this is something that I can overcome. It's a gamble, really.
Yeah.
But how many people actually take a step back and say, do I believe in myself this much that I'm willing to put $5,000 and be $5,000 in debt? That's a question for one to ponder. Yeah. Or do I really want to become successful so bad that I'm willing to be $5,000 in debt? I understand that some people have got family and kids, and you know, but circumstances do not make a man. You know, and that's the thing, right? So for me, I look at it from perspective that I've always gambled on myself.
Yeah.
You know, like I could lose everything today, and I'm fine with it because I still have myself. Fortunately, I've got a network of people like yourself who are part of that network, that if I were to lose everything, they will help me get up to speed or get back to that level. But even if I didn't, I still have myself.
Yeah.
Like no one's going to fucking take me down. You know, that's the reality. of it all. So I think that a lot of people who are like, I don't have the money, it's like, just how much belief do you have in yourself? You know, do you feel like you don't have what it takes to become successful? Because that's the real truth, right?
Yeah, totally.
It's not the money. The real truth is people don't believe that they can actually make it. And you know, for like I said, I mean, to me, when I got into internet marketing, $3,000 was a lot of money. And I can tell you that a lot of people today who are getting into internet marketing, if they can make 2.5, $2,000, $3,000, fuck, even 500 extra on a monthly basis, they consider themselves successful. And it's so ridiculously easy on making, you know, 500. Like, I've got a video that makes $5,000 a month. One single video.
Yeah.
You know, like, yes, it took me a fuck ton of videos, right? You don't, like you said, right?
Yeah.
You don't hit a home run.
Not a home run every. But a lot of people, they expect a home run every single time.
Unless you're me, then of course you'll get a home run.
Yeah, I get a home run like once every 2 videos myself. But like, but seriously, same kind of thing. Like, I mean, I've got one video that gets me like $2,500 a month. One video that's give or take $1,000 a month. And like, yeah, I've got probably like less than you, but I've got my main channel's probably got about 800 videos on it. I've got other channels as well, and yeah, I've got my old school videos didn't make anything. I've got videos that make a commission here and there, and it's kind of like potluck whether they make a commission. Then you get others which are like clockwork, but I'd never got to that stage if I'd have given up after the first few videos that didn't do anything.
Yeah, realistically speaking, I mean, obviously I'm very, you know, charismatic and good looking.
You're a bit like me, yeah? Not quite as good looking, but
I've got epic sauce and personality and stuff. You know, despite the epicosity of me. Nah, in all seriousness, I think you can agree to this, that, you know, when it comes down to YouTube videos, it's still an 80-20. That 20% of your videos is going to account for like the entire videos, right? Like your entire YouTube channel. Like I remember in Raising Bearded Dragons, we've got like...
So just to touch on, Gabriel co-run a channel with in the bearded dragon niche. So if you think you can't make money in like certain niches, I mean, it's not a niche that anybody would think of, but bearded dragons is a niche that Gabriel's involved in.
It's a $1 billion industry as well.
Yeah, $1 billion industry, bearded dragons. Everybody thinks you've got to go into make money online, or you've got to get into weight loss. Yeah, thinking completely wrong. There's tons
Actually,
of niches.
the money is in these little gold mines. The money is not in the make money online niche.
Yeah.
Because it's too competitive. You're competing against people who've got hundreds and thousands, if they don't have that. You're talking about people who've got tens and thousands of dollars in advertising budget. How are you going to compete with that? Like, set yourself up to win. You've got to be strategic about it, right? So I got into Bearded Dragons. One of the major reasons was because I realized that the reptile industry is an industry that comprises of a lot of small businesses, and these small businesses are started by reptile enthusiasts or hobbyists. They're not necessarily entrepreneurs or business owners and stuff like that. They're definitely not marketers, definitely not internet marketers. So I'm like, I'll create a couple of videos and it'll be easy for me to rank, which it was. But I've got like 15 videos on that Raising Bearded Dragons, and you can just type in Raising Reptiles and you can go and see that YouTube channel. And when you go to that YouTube channel, you'll find maybe you've got lesser videos now. I can't remember. It's been a while since I touched that. But you'll see like if we've got 10 videos, 2 videos accounts to all of the, you know, videos combined views wise. Like we've got one video that's got like maybe 300,000-400,000 views, and that's like almost 100% of all of the videos combined. So the reality is that if you're creating 10 videos, 2 videos are going to bring a crap load of views, conversions. Obviously that's another whole subject matter altogether, but it's the 80-20, the Pareto law, is what they call, right? Did I pronounce it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Where
Pareto. Well,
you can focus on 80% of the of the efforts that gets 20% of the results, or you can focus on 20% of the effort that gets 80% of the results. So the reason why I've got time freedom, so to speak, Because I focus on 20% of the effort that gets 80% of the results. And what are some of the 20%? Well, it's not some. Just focus on revenue generating activities. Writing an article, doing a video, I'm sorry to say, means jack shit. It's the marketing of the video, the marketing of the article, that is the one that's going to make you money.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are like, oh, I've created 100 videos, I should be rich now. No, you're not going to be rich because you're not marketing the 100 videos. I don't care if you recorded 10,000 videos. You might be lucky to make an odd sale here and there, which was what happened to me before. And it's all these little things that actually allowed me to get the experience of understanding how shit works, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, so not sure, a little techie hiccup there, but so it's just in summary, what would be your, like, anybody that's watching this video, I mean, I'm sure there will be people at various different levels and skill sets and stuff. When it comes to video marketing specifically, what would be your, what wisdom would you impart on them at the end? Just to, like, because you've explained a lot of stuff, you've talked about your story, you've talked about things that you've done, mentorship, coaching, all that kind of stuff. How would you like to end the interview?
Okay, who is this for?
I think it's for, folk, watching it. We're gonna be
people watching it?
Yeah, I'm going to be sharing this with people like in the Beers of Adam group. I'm going to share it via my members. I'm going to be sharing it with people on my subscriber list. I'm probably going to be sharing it with, my fans, which accounts about 3 people.
Yeah, I've got 3 accounts. Coincidence?
Could be.
I think not. I would say don't take Adam for granted. I mean, honestly, that's what I would say. Like, the people who are watching this just don't really know how fucking lucky you guys are. I mean, fuck, if I had to pay $40 to get access to you, I can't even fathom why you charge $40, to be honest.
Yeah.
I really can't. Maybe because I know the value that you no, I still can't. I think this whole internet marketing scene has to be redefined.
Yeah.
I really do. I think a lot of people think that $40 is a lot of money because people are so accustomed to paying $7 one time. And guys, understand that $7 is just a fucking tripwire. I'm sorry to say this, but this is a marketing term, right? We're willing to lose money on the front end, which is a $7 offer, so that we can get you to commit on the tripwire, followed by the profit maximizer. And this was coined by Ryan Dice, a digital marketer. Yeah, this is like, it's like the whole McDonald's thing, right? Like, you buy a burger, it's going to cost you this much. Do you want it with a meal? That's a profit max. Do you want to upsize? That's a profit maximizer right there. The tripwire is what? I mean, the point that I'm driving across is, I think you guys have everything that is needed to become successful. Just get off your ass and take action. And if you are stuck, this lad here that I wished I had as a mentor, or no, not so much as a mentor, but more of a coach. Because I think,
there's a difference.
Yeah. The difference is that a mentor would actually tell you where to look, but they don't tell you what to see.
Yeah.
Kind of like my mentor, Peter. A coach would actually sit down with you and say, right, what's your objective? Where do you want to be? And if you can't even answer that, don't get a fucking coach. Honestly. So I can't, I don't think there's anything more for me to say, because I think a lot of people who are in VMI or in the official Beers with Adam group are very, very fortunate to actually have you. I'm not saying this because you're my friend. You know that I'm a very honest and very direct person. Like, we've had this chat so many fucking times. Like, I don't even think I would have been. I would have to upload 10,000 videos and put in 10,000 hours and work 18 hours a day. I mean,
it's not work, eh?
What's the price? So actually, I'll leave it with this, right? What's the price that you're willing to pay to leverage on someone's skills, knowledge, and experience instead of having to go through all of that yourself?
Yeah.
That is a very, very and don't fucking bullshit, like a very, very legitimate question. Like, if Peter were to charge me 10 grand an hour, I would have taken it.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I built $1 million company with a $5,000 investment.
Right.
So it's kind of like the expectations have been set, right? Like, if I'm gonna pay him 10 grand an hour, I know I'm gonna make more. So that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I may not be as responsive because I'm always traveling the world and stuff and having fun and working my socks off, honestly. But the other bonus is that I'm in the VMI group.
True. So if you have any questions,
Yeah.
tag Gabriel.
Only when it comes down to YouTube or running a business.
And don't mention football because this team's not so good.
Right now, it's not so good. But it's not as bad as Orient, though.
That's true. And actually, I think that's probably the best way to end this video because otherwise it's going to get downhill very quickly.
Yeah,
anyway,
you see glasses flying around.
Yep. Anyway, cheers for watching, wherever you are in the world, whenever you've been watching, and any questions, you know, you can reach out and let me know. Other than that, nice one.